Grace Jones, and a song called Do or Die. Grace Jones has got... Well, it's got a connection to what we're going to be talking about in this hour. My guest in this hour is Robin Da Silva, the founder and creative director of Niche Artefact. First of all, tell us a little bit, what is Niche Artefact?
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Morning, Robin. Just throw you straight in there.
That's all right, I can take the deep end, it's all right. Right, so just for somebody who doesn't know, so Niche Artefact is a non-profit community group. So we're looking to champion the local arts in Nottingham, whether that's live performers on stage, painters, poets, all the creative mediums, to create a platform for the community of Nottingham.
Brilliant. So that's what Niche Artefact is. We'll be talking more about the next show that they've got coming up, which I'm so looking forward to, because this is right up my stars. It's Studio 54. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first of all, I want to ask you about your surname, Da Silva. What's the origin? Where does it come from?
Yes, so I'm half Afrikaans, South African, half Portuguese. So I was born in South Africa and then raised on the Portuguese island Madeira. And then I grew up in West Sussex down south, and now I'm in sunny Nottingham.
Let's go back. Before we talk about Niche Artefact, let's go back, way back, your college days.
Yeah.
Because this is where sort of the if you like, the social media element comes into it, and the film production and everything like that. So tell us a little bit about sort of how all that started, the college work, and sort of
for myself.
For you, yeah.
So I actually, funnily enough, I studied radio journalism and film at college for a couple of years, and then I moved on to doing film technology at university. So I was doing film when we were still using like cassette tapes and stuff. So I've witnessed a lot of change in technology.
Yeah.
So that's definitely given me a great foundation for everything that we're doing, trying to promote and push Niche Artefact.
And anybody who's seen anything that you put online will know that works so well. It's a really good grounding for what we see today for Niche Artefact.
I pour my life and soul into the promotions. We try and do videos, we do photo shoots. Like, we want to attack every angle to try and, you need to make a lot of noise these days to be noticed, because there's so much out there. You're being bombarded every day on your phone and everything, so it's got to look good and it's got to sound good.
Well, most definitely, and anybody who's been onto the Niche Artefact Facebook page know just how good it sounds.
Thank you so much, Kev.
Well.
I really appreciate that.
That also reflects with the shows as well, because I've been to 2 of the shows now, and I've loved every single minute of being there. It's been a real eye-opener for me to see the different kind of sort of entertainment that is knocking about. And it's not the sort of entertainment that, sort of you see in your average sort of, if you like, pub, club, theatre, or anything like that. It is so varied, isn't it?
It's what I tell all my performers. I really, really drill it in their heads that we are headliners, we are not pub performers. That's the future I want for all of our performers in the community. I'm constantly pushing them to be better and do things differently and think outside the box and think of the journey and what story are you telling. I definitely want to encourage people to aim higher and push themselves higher. That's all part of what we do at Niche Artefact for our performers.
And you see that with sort of just going to see those. And another thing I want to mention, again, going back to sort of pre-Niche Artefact, you were a customer service agent for Domestic and General.
Yes, I was. Oh, you've done your research.
Well, the thing is, I used to be a customer service agent for Eon.
Okay.
I know probably the hassle that you must have gone through with customers.
Do you know what? D&G, I think I was there for a good 4 years, and I can't knock them. Like, it was a really good job. I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time there.
What about the customers, though? I mean...
Well, I'm very resilient, so I dealt with them appropriately and professionally, as always.
Of course. So, again, another thing that you do as a marketing manager, and that was in Portugal.
Yeah, so that was for a real estate firm, Madeira Lifestyle. So, yes, I've got quite a varied CV in terms of what I've done. I'm quite lucky that I've managed to do a lot of different things, which are all transferable skills to what I'm doing now. So
exactly. That's the reason why I mentioned it, because you see, they're like little bits of jigsaw puzzles, aren't they? All these little pieces go to make the big picture that we see today. Another sort of management role that you had was the public house management at now. Is it the GOAT, or do I have to say G.O.A.T?
No, it was, yes, I was the GM at the GOAT. It was a really wonderful period of time. It's actually where Niche Artefact was born. So what started Niche Artefact was in the LGBTQI plus scene in Nottingham has really been on a decline since I'd say about 8 or 10 years ago. And I think it's across all hospitality really. But the importance of creating space and having a community, I just felt like the community needed something that wasn't just going to a nightclub or something like that. Something that, because you really have to work hard these days to get people out of their homes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really tough out there for people these days. You know, we're living in really hard times. So you have to have really something more to offer. So that's why I feel like I've been leaning into the cultural aspect of things and trying to shed light onto subjects that probably aren't exactly mainstream at the moment. So that was a very big factor in why we started doing it, was to engage local people, create a platform, and also to give the community something that they can champion and something that they can go to, you know, something they can celebrate.
You see, I'm one of those people who think, why have we got this platform for the LGBTQ community? Because surely they should be welcome absolutely everywhere. Any pub, anybody can go to. There shouldn't be. I know that it's slightly segregational. Isn't it? And I think that's due to people's mindset, and sort of what, but I'm just one of those people, live and let live, and sort of just let everybody go everywhere at all. But it's great that this is focused. Yeah,
I think I completely agree with that. We should be like that. But also, I think it's about how people feel. So some people aren't probably at that stage in their life where they have that kind of confidence of being themselves. So to just have a little space where you're like, it's okay, So I think that's important. So I know it's not a requirement or necessity in our society at the moment, but it does help to have that little space where people have a chance to have the baby steps and gain confidence and really bloom into who they are.
It's having that safe place where they feel comfortable, or you feel comfortable, or anybody feels comfortable.
I mean, we've been operating for about a year and a half now, and it's really, we've actually got a little community and a little family, and it's really nice being able to be the mother hen and watch all that blossom and everyone doing so well. It's incredible. I'm very proud.
Oh, you should be as well. It's a brilliant night out. Such fun as well. Tell us about the core performers in Niche Artefact.
Yeah, so we usually have our headline performers, and then we also have some guests in sometimes, depending on what slots we have available. So our main headliners, one of them would be Ro de la Monca. They are an incredible vocalist and performer on stage. They are also the creative director in terms of producing the shows, so they're very hands-on. They've had experience off Broadway. They've just recently performed off closing the main stage Pride show, just gone at Groovebox. We also have a fantastic lineup of drag artists. So we've got Priscilla Shona Krakow, who's the hardest working queen out there in Nottingham. She used to have a residency at the GOAT before that closed down. And she also did the Hole in the Wall and also performed at Pride as well. We also have Danny Magic. She's a fantastic drag artist who does vocals and dancing. Carry On Love is one of our new additions to the family. So we are developing Carry On and helping her to become the most fierce queen she can be. And we also have Milady Burlesque, who is an aerialist burlesque artist. So she is sensational. She's worked off Broadway. She's had her own dance company. Her credentials are enough to make anybody blush. So we're very grateful to have her as part of the community.
And she's got a great voice
as
well,
yes. Yeah. Honestly, you've not lived till you've seen. It's Ray Piper. She trades as Milady Burlesque, and she's honestly something out of this world. We're very blessed to have her. And then there's Serena Eden as well, who is just like, come on, if you've heard Serena sing Phantom of the Opera at the last show, there's no words. So we're very blessed to have such a diverse cast of performers that really pull a show together.
Yeah. I can remember Serena's version of "I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire."
Oh, that was my doing. I'm so grateful I got her to do that.
That is just
Wasn't that genius to have a female voice on that?
Yes.
Such a well-known song like that. I was very proud of her. And I don't know if did you come to the Dystopia one?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
that was the first one.
So then one of my all-time favourite moments was that she performed that diva song from The Fifth Element.
Yes.
And that was not designed to be sung by a human being, and she sung the hell out of that.
And I love it where sort of you get this sort of archetypal male type song, and then you get and likewise, you know, a female song and then males sing it. I know that with Craig Revel Horwood, his last album, he took all songs that females normally sing in musicals, and he sung them, and it makes such a change. It sounds so fresh as well. And this is one thing that Serena does so well, doesn't she?
Her vocals are pristine.
Yeah.
She's incredible. We're very lucky and blessed to have her with part of the community.
Now, you mentioned Roe, of course. Am I right in thinking that before Niche Artefact, they were in retirement? And
yes.
They decided to come out of retirement just sort of for Niche Artefact?
Yes, so I met Roe at the karaoke bar that I used to run called The Goats. So Roe came in, started singing some karaoke, and then it's just that light bulb moment when you just look, and I was just like, damn, like, are you interested in, like, joining this show? And Roe had a lot of setbacks in the industry because they are non-binary and they don't like physically fit into the stereotype mold of what it would be to be a performer. So they had a lot of negative experiences and letdowns from trying to get into that industry. So, you know, for their own mental health and well-being, they were just like, do you know what, I can't keep dealing with this kind of rejection. And you know, it warms my heart because we opened up an art studio in Hockley not long ago.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, so and Platform Magazine interviewed Roe, and they said that Roe's creative achievement in their career is being part of Niche Artefact. And I just thought that was the most beautiful thing that anyone said about it. But that's a testament of how their confidence have grown and realizing that they can have their dream and not give up on that. So and you know, they're headlining it last year at Pride, and they've done an incredible job ever since, even producing the shows, doing vocal warm-ups for everyone, preparing all the performers. Like, there's so much care and rehearsal behind the scenes. We meet up literally every week for rehearsals. We work so hard to make this really something special.
We'll talk more about Pride, and we'll talk more about the Pelham Street, it's the art studio down there, right after this from Baccarat. You know, I'm loving the music this morning. That is Baccarat. Sorry, I'm a Lady. My guest this morning is Robin Da Silva, the founder and creative director from Niche Artefact. We mentioned just before that record the new art studio that was opened not too long ago on Pelham Street. Tell us a little bit about that, because unfortunately I couldn't get to see it. I wanted so much to go down for the ribbon cutting of it. But looking at the things online as well, that is an amazing space for art, isn't it?
It is, and what a glamorous thing it is to go to a ribbon cutting event. So I was filled with glee when I could actually type that in on the internet. Yes, so we have a wonderful art exhibit space that's permanent there. It's in the Hockley Emporium, which is like a new business that's opened, where there's multiple businesses operating within one. So you've got vintage clothing, you've got a cafe, you've got a bar, you've got loads of independent traders coming together. And I'm very fortunate that, you know, thanks to James Caden, that the owner of it, he gave me one of the room spaces upstairs for Niche Artefact. So we've got, you know, a permanent space. So the reason why that's so important is because no Niche Artefact show is the same. So that's kind of like the curse and the blessing of it. Yeah. So if you miss a Niche Artefact show, there's never going to be another one the same as before. So with we get loads of local artists to commission artwork to a theme. So, for example, the Studio 54 is the one that's coming up. The one before that we did was Occult Odyssey. So that was exploring the themes of the occult. But all the artists who have their artwork there, it's only there for one night. So this gives all that artwork a chance to have, you know, people buy it, people appreciate it. So it's not just there and gone after the show. So it's really important that we have that space in order to have the artists to be able to shine further than just that one night for the people that can't make it, because not everybody's going to make every show.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really great for that.
Yeah, so you're an artist yourself, aren't you? You do a bit of painting.
I sure do. I love to do oil paintings. During COVID, I started teaching myself oil paint just as a way to keep sane. It became a real relief for me to be able to just focus on something and just let the world melt away. So oil painting really was like a therapy for me to get through the COVID lockdown days. And so I was one of the people that, because I'm an artist as well, when I was interacting with all the local community, we wanted to have a space where all these different artists from different mediums can come together, and that's what we've done.
Is oil the sort of your sort of choice of how to paint?
My preference, yes. Yeah. So I love oil painting.
That's the word, preference. I'm so glad you're here today.
I do like acrylic, but I like oil because it takes a very long time to dry. You can take your time with it. You can come back to it a week later and still continue working, whereas acrylic is terrifying because it dries within minutes.
Now, I've still got to go and see the Pelham Street one, but are there any of your works in there?
Yes, there is, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go. I'm really going to have to go. And the works of art, is that all by LGBTQ or?
The majority, I would say probably about 85% of it is. So we do champion LGBTQIA plus community, but we also, me personally, I feel like the allies are just as important to the community as everybody else. So I'm a big advocate of being open to the entire community and not just, one specific sector. But, we're very welcome to everybody that wants to come just be part of our family, really.
Now, you mentioned that on the nights that you have, like Dystopia and this Studio 54, that's coming up. There's artwork on display there, and there's the break from the music and the performance to see the artwork, which is all very dramatically uncovered, which I love the drama of it.
Do you know what people told me? They were like, where did you get the idea to cover all the artwork with red velvet? And I was just like, isn't that what you do when you unveil art? It was just like, it just made sense in my head. I thought this is just normal. I mean, so when you come into the show, the entire art space will be all covered in red velvet, and then you'll have a chance to have a drink, have a little mingle with people, and then we jump between the stage show and unveiling the artwork. So we try our best to really keep people's attention, because we've been doing it for a year and a half. We've really kind of mastered the formula now. Like only within the last, I'd say, few months, we've really feel like we've got it. Because it took a lot of experimenting. Because you know what it's like these days to try and get things right and get people's attention.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a lot of work.
And it's nice to have that mystery and drama as well. I mean, you can just sit there sort of with your drink, think, what's behind that one?
The anticipation is everything.
Exactly, yeah. So, which is great. Combining artwork and performance and sort of the drama and the singing and everything.
And the silent auctions as well.
You see, I've not witnessed that yet, so...
Yeah, so at every show we have a silent auction. So you just go get a token, fill out a little form.
That's right.
And then you can go around, and if you see a piece of artwork that you like, you might grab yourself a wonderful piece of art,
I can remember you saying that at the last one at Revolution to Cuba. Yes, I have witnessed it.
Yeah, there's many elements that kind of have created a trademark for what is a niche show. So, yeah.
With that sort of... I mean, it's not something that you see sort of when you go out to a normal... a performance show or an art show. It's the blending of those two which sort of really makes the difference and really makes it a fresh experience for people. Really,
I think it keeps people on their feet. I think that's the important part. So, for example, when we did our Dystopia show, that was held at the Nottingham Central Library before. And then when everyone came in, they all started sitting down in the corner. And then I was just thinking, you're not going to be sat there for long, because we're jumping back and forth from artwork to the stage to the auction, poetry. It was quite funny watching people come in who've not been in before to realise that it's not a static show. You're not just going to be sat in the corner. We'll be engaging you in every way, shape and form.
Absolutely. And my first one was at the library as well. And I mean, I just sat there on the front row. I didn't know where I was supposed to sit, but I thought I want to get a good view of this, because it's going to be absolutely great. Now then, apart from Pride, and we'll talk about that in a bit as well, and Niche Artefact, what sort of outlets are there for LGBTQ sort of art and performance in Nottingham? Because you don't seem to see an awful lot, at least advertised. And obviously, if it's not advertised, you don't know about it.
I think you're right. I think there is not much there, because the Spencer Trust, who are a local Nottingham charity, so they have recognised what we've been building with Niche Artefact, and we're very grateful for the Spencer Trust that have made donations to us to help us keep going, because we are a non-profit organisation, so we do rely on the charity of the community to keep us going. And so they recognised they were actually looking for something within the art space to support, so it just so happened that, like you said, there's not really that kind of thing there at the moment. So we did fill up that kind of space in Nottingham, which is amazing, really, because it was very organic from when it started. I was on the streets working in the community at the Goat, and that's when I saw that need for something, and I just created it just through my own drive, rather than thinking of the bigger picture. But now here we are now talking on the radio about it.
Yeah, and we need that sort of outlet, because it can get a little bit static sometimes, and it's nice to have something which freshens the art world and the performance world up. It is. We'll talk more about Niche Artefact, the upcoming night at Revolution de Cuba, and quite a bit more as well. But I'm just in disco heaven here, really, music heaven. That's ABBA and The Winner Takes It All. My guest in the studio is Robin Da Silva, the founder and creative director of Niche Artefact. Niche Artefact nights, how long does it take you to prepare everything that we see on that night? I imagine it's not a quick thing, is it?
So everything in the physical space on the night. So I'd say I usually get in the night before, because we've got to transport all the easels, we've got to prep all the space. So I'd say it's a good, probably like 12 hours here and there work just to make sure that the space, because we completely transform the space.
Yeah.
Getting all the artwork, it's a nightmare, really, because we're collaborating with over 30 Nottingham artists, so it's the logistics of getting the artwork in time and the certain place, doing drop-offs, making sure I've got red velvet that's big enough to cover the paintings, and transporting easels. So yeah, it's very involved, and that's just what you see on the day. So for the live stage show, that's like a month's worth of rehearsal.
And I know that. How often are the Niche Artefact nights? Because I know the one at the library. Mm-hmm. That wasn't that long ago. So I imagine you start preparing sort of as soon as one's finished for the next one.
We actually we prepare for the next one before this one. So I've already we've got a photo shoot on Monday for the next Niche Artefact that we announce at the end of Studio 54. Yeah. So that's also part of the tradition of what we do. We keep the next one a surprise, and then we hit the trailer and the promotion at the end to announce the next one. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Studio 54. For people who don't know, it's a massive nightclub in the 70s and 80s. So tell us a little bit about this themed night.
Yeah, so Studio 54 was the legendary nightclub in the 1970s in New York. I have a little personal connection to it because my dad actually went to Studio 54.
Really?
And he told this really funny story about how the bouncers were only letting really pretty girls in, and him and his male friend were there trying to, the typical nightclub bouncer not letting two guys on their own because they're probably trouble. So then he ended up going to a bar near Studio 54, and he convinced 16 other girls to come to Studio 54, and they created a circle around my dad, and then they snuck in that way. So bring in a lot of girls, and apparently that's fine, you can get in. And then once he was in there, he was famous for not dancing with anybody. He only danced on his own, very dressed, reminiscent of Saturday Night Fever. So he was a bit of a diva on the dance floor. Only danced by himself.
Well, let's face it. If you're going to be on the spotlight, you might as well be in the spotlight on your own.
Yeah.
It didn't do John Travolta any harm, did it? On Saturday Night Fever. And of course, Studio 54 was. The bouncers used to just let in. As you say, sort of certain amount of people who looked good,
yes,
and people who were different,
yes,
shall we say, with the dress sense and everything. I can always remember the story Nile Rodgers tells about sort of, he got turned away from Studio 54 and then went away and wrote Le Freak.
Yeah.
So
originally the lyrics weren't Freak Out.
They weren't.
But we are on the radio, so we can't say that word.
Exactly. So Nile Rodgers tells the story so well. So all the music on the night. Just remind us when the night is and where it is.
Yes, so it's on the 13th of February at Revolution de Cuba. So that will be on Market Street.
That's right.
Yeah. And so that'll be 7 o'clock start. You can grab your tickets from nicheartefact.co.uk, and if you follow us on social media, just look us up, Niche Artefact, and you'll be able to see all the lineups and all the ticket information and the addresses and everything.
And it's all upstairs, and you've got DJ and everything. It's going to be an amazing night. And we can hear music like what we're playing this morning.
Yeah.
There
The DJ
great.
is over the moon. I don't think they've ever been more excited for a gig, because Studio 54 was such a cultural moment. You know, and if anybody hasn't had the chance yet, there's a fantastic documentary about Studio 54, because it was a cultural, almost like a reset. It was a real moment in time with some really strange stories around it. So definitely check it out if you haven't. We try and engage in really interesting subject matter. So like Studio 54, dystopia, occult odyssey. We really try and explore some non-mainstream things that you don't really hear about very often.
And as you say, that documentary is absolutely
fascinating.
Seen it? I've seen it.
Yeah, that's great.
I love anything to do with Studio 54 and that sort of era as well, because there's so many stories.
I think it's the mystery behind it.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't get in there. Well, I wouldn't have got in there in the 70s anyway.
You would have been stuck in the air vent with the other person that was in there.
Yeah, I'd be trying to follow Nile Rodgers in, me. But yeah, it's that whole mystery and the whole... I don't know, the old ethos of once you're in there and sort of just seeing the documentary and everything, and you've got to be somebody to get in there. Yeah. And I suppose once you do get in there,
you know
you've made it. So definitely. So.
Well, like in the documentary, they called it an adult amusement park, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, upstairs on the balcony, there was a lot of amusement up there, if that's what is to be believed. But I believe it is what it is to be believed. Now, if we go back two, let's go back to the library. Central Library is not the sort of venue you'd expect for something like the performance art and you know, aerialist and burlesque and everything like that. People have, I don't know, when you think of a library, you think of a nice quiet place that you go and sit and read. Oh, that was not the case with that one, was it? So how did you get involved with Central Library to get it in there?
Right, so how that came about is that when the Niche Artefact started at the Goat in Hockley, so that was a gay bar, cocktail bar that was running there. So that's where it was born. But then, unfortunately, the bar was going to be closed down. So then we were a bit of a panic thinking, oh no, is Niche Artefact going to disappear now? But we're very blessed and lucky. A good friend of mine, David, and Georgina, who both work at Nottingham Central Library, they do like events there and stuff, and they were just like, oh, well, this is the perfect, something different, really engaging with the community, why not have it at the library? So that was the inroad into there, and then we did a couple at the library. And we're very blessed. We got through to Notts TV, BBC Radio, so that opened up a lot of publicity and doors for us. So we're very grateful for the library for hosting us before.
Is that David Beer?
Yes, David Beer.
Yeah, because he's involved with the library as well. He's quite heavily involved in it, isn't he? So.
And Georgina Wilding as well. So she's the events lead there, and you know she's actually co-hosting the live stage for Studio 54, and she's an incredibly accomplished published author, and she's got a lot going for her. We're very pleased and very happy to have her.
I think that's one thing. Things need to be dispelled, and sort of libraries used to be very stuffy and everything. Now it's an entertainment space, and especially with that great frontage. Yeah, it's all glass.
It was beautiful, yes.
Yeah.
We got a lot of onlookers from when we were doing the show, and it is a stunning space. So, I think the library culture at the moment is moving more towards a community-based approach rather than somewhere to be shushed in a corner. Yeah. So, no, they're doing a great job there at the library. If you haven't been yet, it's a stunning building. Go visit it.
That was my first visit to the new library. I kept saying, I'm going to have to go down because I love reading. I thought, I'm going to have to go down. And your event made me go down there. And it was just, I only sort of had a look round the bottom bit.
It's a very, very impressive building.
Oh, isn't it? I need to go down there again and visit the cafe and all sorts. And But yeah, with the way that libraries are going, especially in Nottingham as well, them being closed down and everything, they need to move a little bit.
Yeah, there is a bit of uncertainty with it, but you can stop that from happening by just supporting it. So
absolutely,
just go to your library, support your local library.
Yeah, and it took long enough and enough money to actually get it there. So to have it shut down would be such a waste.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but fingers crossed.
Hopefully not anyway. So, right, I tell you what, we've got another couple of records to play before the end, 2 or 3 records actually. So we'll try and get in as much as we can. We'll talk more about Niche Artefact and Knott's Pride and everything else to do with that. That is Anita Ward, of course, 1979, and Ring My Bell, the sort of music that you'll hear at Studio 54 for Niche Artefact at the Revolution de Cuba. It sounds so posh, doesn't it?
It does, yes. It's a very grand building, very beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous in there as well. Tell us a little bit about Knott's Pride. Where does Niche Artefact fit in with Knott's Pride 2025?
So with Niche Artefact in Pride, we haven't got any announcements at the moment. So we do have some things that we are ambitious to and what we want to do, but unfortunately we have nothing we can announce at the moment.
Well, I mean, you've got enough on your plate.
Yes, we got loads going on, but yes, I'm sure there might be a little something, but we're not allowed to talk about anything at the moment.
Oh, right, okay. So I wouldn't want you to tell me and then have to kill me. So that wouldn't be good for me.
So watch this space. There'll be plenty of Niche Artefact coming in the future. Definitely with some stuff we can't really talk about just yet.
No, that's fine. Just keep tuned in to the Niche Artefact Facebook page. So, I mean, Pride is. It's basically the main thing, apart from Studio 54 and all the other Niche Artefact things. It's the main thing for the LGBTQI community, isn't it? And not just them. Not just them. It's a great celebration, I suppose, in Nottingham.
Oh, it is, yeah, especially with like Groovebox at Binks Yard. So they're quite up and coming in terms of big event spaces. I mean, the one thing I can confirm about it is that one of our headliners, Rode La Monja, they will be headlining at Binks Yard for Groovebox for their Pride event. But that's all we can say at the moment about that.
Just watch this space. So I know that the last year's one, that was my second Pride I went to, and I absolutely adored it. And it's so friendly.
And I love what they've done with the space, because now it's expanded into
Sneinton Market,
which is really nice. It makes it feel a lot bigger and a lot nicer.
Yeah,
not all crammed down one area. So
the big performance space as well, with the stage and everything, and sort of big sound systems and everything. It's just so good down there.
The Pride last year was the first Pride that Niche Artefact walked as a house. So we had our flags, we had our T-shirts. So that was pretty much our first proper Pride as Niche Artefact. So that was great.
Brilliant stuff. And this year it takes. I did have the date for. Is it June, July? 26th of July, Saturday 26th of July 2025 is the next prize. So go down there and support it.
Yes, because they are also a charity organisation, so they are raising money at the moment for that Pride event. So there is the Winter Ball coming up
at the Palais, isn't it?
At the Palais, yeah. So if anyone's available, go down there, get a ticket, because all that money goes towards making sure we actually keep having a Pride in Nottingham, because you need funds to be able to close the roads and to get the performers. So you need to support these events to keep our Pride going, which is so important.
And it's not cheap to have a performance space like that in Sneinton Market as well. So because if you've not been down there to have a look, the stage is massive.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible achievement what they do.
Yeah.
But definitely come down to the Winter Ball at the Palais and come support your local Pride.
What sort of entertainment is on at the Winter Ball? Do you know?
So yes, at the Winter Ball, so you've got go-go dancers, you've got drag performers. So it's very much like a proper club night. So it's that kind of environment. So to get a bit sweaty on the dance floor and have a really good time. So I guess that is kind of Studio 54 vibes as well. Yeah,
definitely. I'm far too old for that.
Far too old to sweat.
Then about that, you've not been in here when the air conditioner's not working, I tell you. So tell us a little bit about the Niche Artefact podcasts.
Yeah, so the Niche Artefact podcast was something that started as a way of just kind of like recording the history that we did. It was never a case of I wanted to be like an influencer or, have that kind of stereotype. So it was just like a nice way of bookmarking all the previous shows, because like we said before, no two shows are the same, and if you miss that one, it's gone forever. So it was a really nice chance to be able to show the artwork online that was there, to talk about the performances, talk about the journey, because there's been a lot of growth and a lot has happened over the last year and a half, and I don't want that to just be forgotten about. So I guess it's just to preserve the legacy of what we're building with Niche Artefact.
It's nice to have a pictorial diary as well, isn't it? So you've got that history on there. Right, as I said, I want to try and cram in a couple more before the end of the hour. It's not Dinah Ross at all, it's Donna Summer. Donna Summer and Barbara Streisand, I'm lying to you. And No More Tears, Enough is Enough. We're going to have one very, very quick chat, last chat to Robin Da Silva, the founder and creative director of Niche Artefact, and then we're going to play the last song, which is a Grace Jones song. Tell us a little bit about the Spencer Trust and how they're involved.
So the Spencer Trust are a local Nottingham charity that they fund the Nottingham Frontrunners and various other local projects in Nottingham. They've just recently announced their retreat program, where they are offering applications for LGBTQI community, where they can go away for like a mindful, restful weekend. So that is one of the aspects of the Spencer Trust. They also work with HIV support, and so they do a lot of great stuff. So we're very grateful that we are part of the umbrella that are being helped by them. So they just recognised what we were doing and thought it was important, so they've been helping us.
Brilliant, and that's called Rest and Restore, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so you can find out more about that online. Robin, thank you so much for coming in. We've had so much to talk about, and so much we could talk about as well, but we've just the tip of the iceberg. For anybody who wants to find out more about Niche Artefact, what they do and the upcoming shows, how can people find out more about them?
Yeah, so if you just Google Niche Artefact or go to nicheartefact.co.uk, all the event information is on there, all the social links, and please come down and support us. So Studio 54 is on the 13th of Feb, on Thursday, 7 p.m. at Revolution de Cuba. So we're not long now. I think we're about 10 days away. So.
Not far. Where can people get tickets from again?
Yes, so the tickets are from Gigantic, but if you head over to nicheartefact.co.uk, all the links for all the tickets will be there.
Brilliant stuff. Lovely to actually properly meet you.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been so good finding out more about Niche Artefact. And for someone who's only been to 2 or 3 of the Niche Artefact shows, if you can, go down, support them. It's an amazing night of entertainment, of art, performance, and everything that you could want for a great night out, really. And in the middle of town as well. So, Robin, take care. We'll see you we'll see you in February.
Yes.
It's this month.
I know. I'll see you soon.
Oh, see you soon, Robin. Thank you. And thanks for the great choices of music as well.
You're welcome.
It's Grace Jones.